Chiefs Kingdom, what is going on? Welcome into the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Jace Andrews, and today we talk about every single UDFA signing the Chiefs have made thus far as the draft concluded yesterday. Brett Veach and company immediately on the phone signing some players to UDFA contracts and potentially guys who could come in here and make a difference in the long run. We've seen Jack Cochran and Ekow Boye-Doe most recently, who were originally UDFAs, made the team after all. Let's start here with the first four that were signed in running backs. Emani Bailey, the running back out of TCU, and then Carson, Steele from UCLA. Ethan Driskell, the offensive tackle from Marshall. Fabien, Lovett Sr., the defensive tackle from Florida State. And then one of the harder names on here, Eyabi, Okie-Anoma, the edge from Charlotte, originally committed to Alabama, was actually a higher ranking than Micah Parsons, so kind of cool there. Jaylon White-McClain, the edge from Old Dominion. Curtis Jacobs, the linebacker from Penn State. Christian Roland-Wallace, cornerback out of the University of Southern California. Then we go to Miles Battle, a cornerback from Utah. Reggie Brown, a wide receiver from James Madison. He was actually pretty liked by some teams and heralded as a top UDFA. Chiefs actually end up landing him. Nick Torres, the offensive tackle from Villanova. And then Ryan Rico, there you go, from the punter from BYU. So that's probably the baseline plan for backups there. All right, the draft is over, but guess what? That doesn't mean the coverage stops here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. We got you covered all through everything that's going to happen in the summer mini camps, OTAs, rookie mini camps, rookie OTAs, all that stuff. We have got you covered right here on the Chiefs Report, so do not miss out. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV. You're not going to find better coverage for the Kansas City Chiefs. You're a diehard fan. You're in the right place. We got you covered on all fronts. Let's start breaking these down with the running backs first because, as mentioned, the Chiefs were really looking to draft a running back in this year's 2024 draft. However, they ended up not getting one, so they signed two in UDFAs. The first one, Emani Bailey, the running back from TCU. Now, if you're on Twitter, if you're kind of a diehard looking at all these scouting reports, you'll know that his athletic score is not the greatest. However, athletic score is not always everything. This guy was a dog at TCU, had a career game against Iowa State this past year, rushing for over 150 yards. He was actually he was technically in our rankings, should have been the last guy drafted at number 257 overall. He was the number 22 running back in this class from our rankings from Tom Downey. So a pretty decent signing there for Emani Bailey. I think he's got a lot of positives to offer. He sees the field very well, and I think that's where we could potentially see him come in here and be an RB3, be a guy who maybe could make the team and take over that spot for P. Ryan. I know that that's some questions going on if he's actually going to be wanted on this Chiefs team. He is able to miss some tackles. He's not the biggest guy, like I said. Had the one-year start, obviously, this past year at TCU. Keandre Miller had the start before him, so he's got a little bit of some positives, but have to see what happens with that. The other running back that they did sign was Carson Steele from UCLA, the 6', 228-pound running back. Actually has pretty good size and leverage for a running back. I kind of like what I've seen from him in a couple of different facets, just the way he moves and runs with the ball. I don't know how much of an opportunity he'll get, but we will have to see in terms of whether they like Emani Bailey more or whether they like Carson Steele more. Because I can guarantee you this right now, one of them will make the team. I almost promise you that, whether it be on a practice squad form or the 53-man roster. They need some extra running game because unless they're going to go out and sign somebody in free agent, they had the plan of J.K. Dobbins. Well, guess what? He's with the Chargers now. So you need somebody to potentially come in here and take a spot in the running back room. Which one do you like more? Carson Steele, Emani Bailey? Is there one of these guys that you would rather have on the Chiefs 53-man roster? Let me know down in the comment section. S for Steele, B for Bailey. Let me know down in the comments. Let's continue on here with the signings. Ethan Driskell, the offensive tackle out of Marshall. Fun fact, I actually had this guy mock the Chiefs in one mock draft. So the fact that they didn't even have to draft him, they got him as a UDFA, pretty dang good. Number 237 overall, so definitely a draftable grade. And the number 20 offensive tackle. Pretty good size, 313 is great. A little bit on the taller front for offensive tackle, 6'8". He's more comparable, at least size-wise, to a Joe Alt and the height frame. I think the bigger thing, though, is he's not as, I guess, technically sound as Joe Alt. PFF grade, not too bad, 67.4. Did allow 3 sacks, 15 hurries, 2 hits. Solid stats. Again, Marshall, you're not facing the amazing competition that you would face in Power 5, SEC, Big 12, all that stuff. But I do think this is a pretty decent signing because if you can get him in there and be able to potentially just grow the technique, I could definitely see him working out and making at least in a practice squad facet. Another lineman, defensive tackle, Fabien Lovett Sr. from Florida State. This one's surprising me. I mean, we had him ranked as the number 17th overall defensive tackle. He was in the top 200 of overall prospects, and yet he went undrafted. And the Chiefs saw that and said, all right, we're taking this guy right freaking away. And I see exactly why. This guy is really solid in his time at Florida State. Obviously, that defensive line at Florida State, really, really good. You had Fisk in there, a couple of guys that I honestly kind of wanted on this team. But Fabien Lovett, I'll definitely take that. 11 pressures this past year with 1 sack. But you go back to 2021, 20 pressures. This guy is able to get in the backfield at a college level. Have to see how it goes in the NFL caliber, but I do think he has a chance to potentially make the team. I think this is one of the better signings they have overall. Eyabi Okie-Anoma, the edge from Charlotte. He originally committed and played at Alabama. Doesn't have a draftable overall ranking. However, the big thing and the, I guess, happy part about this, he was a highly touted prospect out of high school. Actually ranked higher than Micah Parsons, hence why he went to Bama first. That obviously did not work out, and he is now 25 years old. Time was ticking. That's probably the reason he did not get drafted. I still think, though, this is a really good signing. I think it's low risk, high reward. And that's what you want here in your UDFA signings. You want these guys who could be very, very high rewards if they work out. He still is that prospect at his core. It's just about how can they make that come out again. We'll have to wait and see, but I definitely think that could be one we see make the practice squad at least to just see what's there. See if they got any of that 5-star ranking left. You know what I got, though? I got my PrizePicks to put in because I'm getting 5 stars every single day on that app. PrizePicks.com/CLNS, and using code CLNS, you're going to get a discount, or you're going to get a $100 deposit match there. And it's super easy to play. You choose 2 or more players. You choose more or less on their PrizePicks projected stats. And then flex or power play, depending on how confident or maybe unconfident you are on your selections. They've got tons of different stat types, tons of different sports. It's the only place I go to play DFS. The NBA playoffs going on right now. I've been putting them every single day. Doing pretty well. Usual little makes and misses for PrizePicks. Here's what I got going on for today's game. The one that I'm looking at is the Dallas Mavericks and the Los Angeles Clippers. I'm going the less on Kawhi Leonard for rebounds. I don't see him getting in there against a strong rebounding team in the Dallas Mavericks. And then Irving, it's playoffs. I'm going more on his points. I trust that he will get there, especially when I combine him and have more on Luka Doncic and his points, rebounds, and assists. It's the playoffs, and it's Luka. Name a better combination. I'm telling you, go put those in. You're going to win yourself some good money. You can go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. We'll have that link in the comments and the description of this video. And using code CLNS, you're going to get that $100 deposit match. It's super easy to play, and it's the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. So if you're not on there just yet, I encourage you to go check it out. It's so much fun. And watching sports since playing PrizePicks, man, it's become a lot more fun. Go check it out at prizepicks.com/CLNS. And using code CLNS, you're going to get that $100 deposit match. And go check it out. Jaylon White-McClain, edge from Old Dominion. This one is kind of one of those, I think Brett Veach liked him. There's some guys, especially every year, that Brett Veach just sees something and wants to pull in. Didn't have an edge ranking, didn't have an overall ranking. This guy was barely in our system, to be quite frank with you. But guess what? Chiefs signed him, and I think you could potentially see what happens. Edge is not a very important position, given you were able to re-sign Mike Dana. You have Felix Anudike-Uzomah, George Karlaftis, Charles Omenihu will be back later on in the season. It's going to be a pretty decent way here with the edges, so I don't expect this guy to honestly make the team, but it's a signing nonetheless. Curtis Jacobs, the linebacker from Penn State. Draftable ranking, once again, number 203, the 15th linebacker overall. Played with the Nittany Lions. I like this guy. I think he could be a really good linebacker backup option. Once again, the linebacker room, I'm not going to say is thin, but behind Jack Cochran, I'm not too confident. So with that being said, maybe Curtis Jacobs comes in there and makes a name for himself and becomes one of the rotational guys. Over his career in Penn State, 2.5 sacks this past year with 49 tackles and 9 tackles for loss is really, really good. I'd say for you're getting him as a UDFA, I'm taking that every day. An interception in both 2021 and 2022. 4 sacks in 2022 as well. That's his best year with 7.5 tackles for loss. Definitely could see him potentially making a name and maybe hopping in the linebacker room. I honestly think at worst for Jacobs, he's a practice squad guy with the linebacker situation the Chiefs are in. Then we go to Christian Roland-Wallace, cornerback, USC. Showed some prowess at USC. There's a couple times where it thought that maybe he could bump himself up, be a draftable guy, but I think time just ran out. 22 years old, though, for a senior. Pretty good experience. I don't know what we'll see with him and kind of doubt he will make the team. But, again, the best thing about UDFAs, they're low risk, high rewards. If they work out, great. If they don't, cool. They're just going to be cut in a couple months. Miles Battle, another cornerback here. This one from Utah, 6'3", 196. Really like his size, his weight. The way he is able to kind of know when the ball is coming and something that I really liked about him. The problem is the technical skills, and that's where I see a little bit of a probably reason why he didn't get drafted. Again, senior there. Lots of these guys probably going to be the older ones just because most UDFAs, you're done with your class. That's why you're in the draft and draft eligible in the first place. Reggie Brown, wide receiver from James Madison. Now, I know we don't have a ranking on him, but there's a lot of people talking that this guy has a really, really high upside. 6 foot, 189 pounds. He's got great hands. Can really bring in a pass when it needs to. This is honestly the only guy that I really liked in terms of getting the ball in a 50-50 shot. He was able to get the vertical up there, and he tested athletically pretty sound. So I think he could honestly be a surprising guy. I kind of compare him to like a Cornell Powell of like, okay, let's keep him on. Maybe he'll make the team soon enough. Maybe he won't. At worst, he's a guy who can play, kind of play in practice and help us out in that facet. Nick Torres, the offensive tackle from Villanova, is the number 11 here on the KC UDFA signings. Kind of helping that offensive line. They really like to have around 15 to 16 offensive linemen in their 90-man roster. Before the UDFA signings, they had 11, so this is one of those things of another offensive lineman to come in and help that out. Usually not all 15 or 16 make the squad. I would say about 10 are on the active roster, and on the practice squad you get about 2 or 3, so Nick Torres probably, in my mind, trying to become one of those 2 or 3. 6'6", 305, though, not a bad build for what he could potentially become. And then the punter here, let's see if I can get this one right this time. Ryan Ekow, there we go. The punter from BYU. A number 2 overall punter. Hey, that's pretty good if you ask me. It's honestly just a backup option. Obviously, with the departure of Tommy Townsend, you brought in, I forgot his name, the Bills, Matt Ariza, there you go. It came back to me. You brought him in, and you have now a backup option if he were to not work out. Ariza, though, again, the punt god, should be a very viable option. The only thing you're concerned about is he hasn't been in competitive football for the past couple of years, so have to kind of see if he is like fully ready to go, which, considering what I've heard, he should be the starting punter. No worry from there. All right, that's the UDFA signings we have so far. Who is your favorite UDFA that the Chiefs have signed? Is it Carson, Steele, Emani Bailey? Hey, maybe it's a couple of the other guys you saw fit in there. Let me know down in the comments section if there's somebody that stuck out to you that you really liked. I think there's a couple of guys that can honestly make an impact. And we've seen it before. Jack Cochran, Ekow, Boye-Doe, both UDFAs, both made the roster by the end of the year last year. And Jack Cochran, he's now the 4th-string linebacker, so pretty good there. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Once again, the coverage does not stop here. We are going to continue making sure that everything in terms of Kansas City Chiefs coverage is right here on the Chiefs Report. youtube.com/ChiefsTV is where you're going to find us. You can also scroll down if you're on your laptop, little red subscribe button, tap that. Or if you're on your phone, you're watching this way, turn it, boom, little red subscribe button, tap that, and you're locked in with us all season long. We got a bunch of amazing stuff coming up, lots of good videos and talk of after draft and free agency, so we will keep you covered on all facets. For now, though, Chiefs Kingdom, we do appreciate you hanging out with us here on the Chiefs Report. For now, though, peace out.